In our reflections on the Gita, we have heard how the effort that we make in spiritual life does not get lost, but rather accumulates as good karma, and that even if we don't reach the final goal of yoga, this effort will stay with us into the next incarnation, and then we have a better starting point. Here Krishna elaborates a little more in verses 43 and 44 on this subject. So if you'd like to join in, 43 and 44. Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam labhate parvadehikam yatate chatato bhuyaha samsiddhau kuru nandana purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jignasurapi yogasya shabda brahmana nivartate. There, when the yogi is born in the family of yogis, he comes in touch with the knowledge acquired in their former body and strives more than before for perfection, O Arjuna. By that very former practice, the yogi is borne on in spite of oneself. Even one who merely wishes to know yoga goes beyond the Brahmic word. Let us elaborate on these verses a little. In verse 43, Krishna says that when a yogi or when a person who has been striving does not complete the task, does not come to the end of the road, in the next birth, one comes in touch with the knowledge acquired in the former body and strives more than before for perfection. We often see that some children exhibit very unique traits that can't be put down to any kind of previous conditioning, and naturally pick up various spiritual techniques even without any input from their environment, from their parents and so on. And in the ultimate form of this, we can see yogis being born from early on with a strong sense of dispassion, such as Ramana Maharshi or Swami Niranjan. And they just continue their path, and it's very quick. The progress in their life is very quick. And Swami Shivananda also says that it is not necessary that a person with this kind of quality will always pick up some kind of spiritual practice and start where they left off, because there may be some other effects of detrimental karmas that will prevent this from happening in any present incarnation. But once the effects of those bad karmas have been exhausted, then the karmas of the spiritual effort will come to shine forth. So they never get lost, no matter how we might think of any given incarnation as being closer or further away from the goal. So this is what is meant by what is said in verse 44, that by that very former practice, the person is borne on in spite of themselves. They're in a running train of spiritual life, and whether they make any conscious effort or not, the power of the practices before and the lifestyle before and the karmas before will push them on. And Krishna says that even one who merely wishes to know yoga will eventually go beyond the superficial and will want to go deeper. And this is actually a very important point to remember, that even the interest in yoga, a living interest in yoga, actually indicates significant progress in personal evolution. Because most people, even if they associate with yoga, it's only going to be for some kind of short-term benefit, such as a health benefit or a physical health or mental health benefit. But a true interest and desire for yoga already indicates that there has been some work done in a previous life, and also that that itself is the seed for action in the future. So the person who has become a yoga bhrashta, as Krishna says, the one who has fallen from yoga, is carried to the goal which was intended to reach in the previous goal by the force of these good samskaras. Samskaras are impressions that we that are in our consciousness, the impressions from past actions, and they determine our desires and also how we do our future actions. So when we choose these spiritual samskaras carefully, then they'll become the building blocks on which we can then build another foundation later on. And when the person reaches the stage where there is a strong desire for liberation or moksha, then even that strong desire is enough for the yogi to be non-affected by the various actions that they perform. This is also referred to in the Yoga Sutras, in the Raja Yoga Sutras, that this strong desire for liberation and thereby the mind being always focused on discovering the truth, that itself is enough as a practice for a person who has reached that stage. And again, we can see this in the lives of some great saints who did not really have any formal education, not even any formal training by their guru, and yet through the force of their own self-inquiry or devotion, they have reached the ultimate goal nevertheless. Reflecting now on these thoughts in relation to our own life. Where do we stand in the spiritual evolution? How far have we gone? Krishna gives us some indications. We have all come here, we are all coming here daily. That's already a sign that the spiritual samskaras are effective, that they have an effect on the current life. Reflecting on the need to keep on conditioning the mind positively and deconditioning it from negativity. And that even if we don't come to the end of that path, end of that work, the effort will not be lost, even in this incarnation, even in this life, we get a lot of benefit. But even if we don't make it quite to the end, we'll have a much better starting point next time. Let this inspiration distribute in the mind, fill the whole mind and the body, rekindling that flame of inspiration that we started on with our spiritual path. always keep it alive, protecting it from any negativity within or outside. Shifting now the gaze in between the eyebrows. Begin to visualize a bright flame. See the light spreading far and wide from this point. A single point of luminosity in the shape of a flame. As we gaze on this flame, we will chant Om and Shantipat. Take a deep breath in. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma mritam gamaya sarvesham swastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Hari Om, that's it. Externalizing the awareness slowly, gradually opening the eyes when you're ready. Have a wonderful day and see you again tomorrow morning. Hari Om.